This video is specifically on the settings area of the page builder. So when you click on the settings area, you'll see 5 options come up: the SEO metadata, tracking code, custom CSS, background, and typography. So let's look at these one by one. So the SEO metadata, when you click on that, it'll open up on the right hand side how you want ultimately Google to index the site, how it looks via search engines basically, right? So whilst we're not going to go into exact best practices on that here, effectively this is allowing your page to be visible or at least look relevant when it shows up via the link. Okay, so the title of the page, the description, you can change all these, and these are previewed down the bottom. And you can add keywords relevant to what the page is about or what your business is. You can put your business name in here as the author, and then you can add a social image. So what the social image does is that if somebody adds that link or you add the link via social media, such as Facebook, for example, it will load that image as the preview instead of just grabbing some random image from the page. So we just click the pick image one here, and then we can either choose one from your library or you can upload something as you've seen in other videos. In this case, I'm going to use just this logo here. And now you can see when this link is posted, it's going to show my logo. Again, that may not be the best practice, but that is effectively what that button does in terms of customizing your social image just there. And so now you see your preview as exactly what this would look like in terms of the link, which is this bottom half with the image and the link here. And then above that shows the SEO preview as to what that would show up as if it did appear on an organic listing on a Google search. Right, so that's SEO metadata. Remember, as you make changes, hit that save button. The next one we're going to look at in the settings is the tracking code. So when you hit tracking code, what this does is it opens up 2 options, header code and footer code. Now, depending on what tracking code you're using, you will likely have instructions on where to put this. If you're not sure, then put it in the header code. So an example of that would be a tracking pixel from such a resource like Facebook tracking. You would put your Facebook pixel in the header code. The main thing to note here is that this is page specific tracking code. So in most cases, you'll be putting your code such as tracking pixels on your funnel dashboard setting area, which affects every page in the funnel. If, however, you wanted specific code for just a single page, this is where you put that code. The next area we'll look at is custom CSS. So this is an area, if you know what it is and how to use it, this is where you put it. But an example of what this is changing custom styling or putting in fancy bits of extra functionality to your page. This is where this will go. If, for example, a developer asks you to put a custom CSS snippet in, this is potentially where it would go, right here to affect the whole page. The next section we will look at is the background. So the background is the background for the entire page, and you saw that we used this in the setup of this demonstration page. The thing to understand here is that this background set, this is basically behind all the other sections. So if you imagine the page in layers, all the sections and the rows and elements, etc., these all sit on top of the background. So whatever you set that background to, that will underlie everything. So that's where you set it here, and you can change the image options to be 100% width, no repeat, which makes it just a full-size image. Repeat means if the image is smaller than the full width of the page, it will repeat left to right, top to bottom. Then you can customize that to be only horizontal or only vertical. And then you can do with horizontal, if it's not the full height of a page, fix it to the top or fix it to the bottom. Those are the options there. Background image opacity simply means you can alter, in fact you can see it here as I adjust this. Heavy fade basically means it's quite light and you can see the text better. Okay. You can instead use a background color, and that's simply by choosing this option here and choosing your color. The next setting we will look at is the typography. So your funnel builder has an advanced feature that allows you to set page-wide fonts. So what this means is that if you change the headline font, so for example, if I change this to this font here, Acme, you can see that it actually changes across all the different elements where I was using a headline. If I change it to another one, you'll see it changes across the whole page again. So this means that you can make page-wide changes to your style without having to individually go into each element and change it. Same with the content, so anything that's listed as a paragraph, you can adjust those settings here. So you'll see on this example page, the only part I'm using a paragraph is this bottom disclaimer area. So as I change it, it changes anything that's set as paragraph. Right, and again, you can change the text color of the whole site using this, and this will affect both headlines and paragraph text. And you can also change the links, and you'll see right down the bottom of this page, I have some links here. Let's change that to another font so you can read it. And I can change the link color just here. So for example, I set that to yellow, that would be that. Actually, the reason that hasn't changed is because I overrode those with a custom color. So that is the last point to note, that if you set custom colors after setting your colors here, they will override the site-wide colors. This is just where you set the default settings for what color and what font your headings and paragraphs are. So that completes the overview of how to use the settings area for your individual pages of your funnel builder.